So, checking in with the first 10 stanzas of Canto 23, the final stanza in this volume of Orlando Furioso. I'll be halfway, I think, at that point, unless there's a ton of notes at the end of volume 2. But first thing I want to say is, the reading itself is private, but actually, I think I got a bit better of a cadence of the reading done. There is that thing of trying to work on vocal stresses and giving the words room to breathe, to really resonate through. And there's some times that I do this, it's like, I know I'm just powering through. And I mean, that probably has a bit of that has a bit of use, but it's far more useful when I can read the words in a way that really lets them breathe, gets that space in there. That is where I think I'm doing my best reading. And it's funny because I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and oftentimes I put it on fast because it feels like there's too much breathing room. But I think when you're actually reading it out loud, it does help to take those breaths there where the author has indicated them, and to also just sort of say the words like you mean them, because you should mean them. If you don't say the words like you mean them, they've just become wallpaper and they're unlistenable. I'm sure there's a lot of what I have read out in the past which is quite unlistenable because I'm trying to read fast, like my audiobooks at 1.5 speed. God help me, the people who do it like 2 or 3 speed. So that's an interesting lesson to take from this, and hopefully makes me a better reader. I mean, I'm definitely doing the blunt force, inefficient way of learning to be a better reader by just reading every single day and seeing, oh, what's working, and accidentally stumbling upon. Actually, I didn't accidentally stumble upon this. There was listening to Rodenberg talk about putting stresses in your words to give them meaning. It's like you have to think about the words and give it a stress where you think, by chance it happened that the paladin, just at that moment when the maid rode out, had doffed his helmet, and she thus had seen and recognized her cousin beyond doubt. So I've kind of gone, I was like, I know that this is like, oh my goodness, I've seen someone, and I'm trying to translate that into the stresses and to the rising and like, the action words in here. She rode to greet him with a joyful shout, and spoke her name and raised her visor high, that he might recognize her too thereby. So, where is excitement in this sentence, and trying to kind of convey that. And, it's going to be imperfect because I'm not scoring this beforehand. I'm reading it as I'm going, and I'm getting the sense as I'm going. I might raise myself into a cul-de-sac. I'm not too concerned about this. I'm not selling my audiobook version of Orlando Furioso. This is strictly for my own education of how to speak out loud, how to work my words, also to give myself a vocal exercise. And actually, this is far more making those stresses, making the interpretations is giving my voice far more of a workout, and also hopefully giving me more of a variety in how I speak, so that people would listen to me, because it's not all just monotone, monotone, monotone. I'm trying to educate myself on being up and down, and like, this is the exciting part, and this is the part we can just get through quite quickly and move on to the next part, which is also super exciting, stuff like that. So yeah. Of the section of the actual content in here, that's my experience of reading it out loud. Well, we've got the whole thing of Pinabello's fate, and how, he deserved to die. And, God will help those who are good, but not those who are evil, which it works in this universe, maybe doesn't work in the actual universe. She beats herself up after she's killed Pinabello because she can't find her way back. And she wishes that she had, I should have blazed a trail upon my course to help me return to whence I came. My eyes and memory are much to blame. So she reproaches herself for this. However, this is where we kind of go back up on the story, because she comes upon Grifone, who is looking for someone to take his hippogriff. and she exits the it's so she exits the woods and sees him, and that's who she's happy that the paladin just happens to see Grifone, and this is her cousin, and she's super happy to see him, and so she's riding out, raising her visor high so that he might recognize her too thereby. Okay, I've read that out enough times right now. So just a little, we're continuing on with the thing. I guess we'll find out the next stanzas whether we suddenly swerve away into another story yet again, because that is what seems to happen with Ludvigo Aristo. This is a long story, and I'm going to tease the hell out of you. Tease you all the way through the story and keep you reading, which he has. I'm engaged, and that is also thanks to the translator Reynolds, who, I find some of it clunky, but it's got a good energy to it, and I think energy and kind of a joy to it, which carries you a long way, even if sometimes the words feel a little clunky in English. All right, I will leave it there. More videos later.